Prime Minister Hubert Ingraham is slamming the PLP and DNA for what he says are careless statements and a misrepresentation of the facts surrounding last week's visit of Haitian President Michel Martelly. Defending against criticism directed at him surrounding the visit, Mr. Ingraham also gave his take on the president's controversial remarks. Here's Shanique Miller.
Just what took place in the days leading up to Haitian President Michel Martelly's one-day visit to the Bahamas. More specifically, did the FNM invite Haiti's new president to the Bahamas?
Justice, I don't need the permission of the United States government, president, to travel to America, or to travel to Barbados, or Jamaica, etc., or to travel to Haiti. They don't need our permission to come. As a courtesy, heads of government will inform the government of the country they are visiting in advance, if only to ensure that certain security arrangements and protocol arrangements are put in place. I became aware through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Now, while in the Bahamas, Martelly left quite an impression, speaking in Creole to thousands of Haitians at Joe Farrington Road Auditorium that they should throw their support behind the group that will best support their needs. From that moment, Bahamians were incensed, angry that Martelly would dare make such a statement. But was he out of line? Prime Minister Ingraham said no.
He was perfectly entitled to make such a statement. In fact, quite frankly, I don't see why it would be difficult for the Bahamas to countenance saying to Bahamians living in America or Jamaica or Barbados that if they are going to vote and they are entitled to vote in those countries, that they ought to choose the party that best fits what their interest is. And so, insofar as the persons who are citizens of the Bahamas who are formerly Haitian nationals, we certainly look forward to receiving the votes of the majority of Bahamians, whether they were born in the Bahamas, naturalized in the Bahamas, or otherwise.
In the days that followed, political groups took Martelly's comments and laid them squarely at the feet of the FNM. But were they being disingenuous? For example, during the meeting, there were politicians present, and they, like the Bahamians in the audience, were provided interpreters so they could keep up. Prime Minister Ingraham talked about last Tuesday night.
There were no FNM politicians at the function at Joe Farrington Road. There were a PLP Member of Parliament, former Attorney General, Mr. Alfred Sears, and the PLP candidate for Fort Charlotte, Dr. Rollins, at the meeting with the 7,000 or more Haitian and or Bahamian nationals who went to hear President Martelly.
Further, Ingraham noted that the courtesy call to the PLP the following morning was the perfect opportunity for the PLP to speak with Martelly about the reported offending statement.
Presumably, if Mr. Christie had an issue with what President Martelly had said, he would have raised it with President Martelly while he was at Mr. Christie's house. He certainly would not have waited until last night at his candidate launch to hear from Mr. Christie. Clearly, that's what I would have done if I had taken issue with a statement President Martelly had made.
DNA leader Brian McCartney also lashed out at Prime Minister Ingraham, blaming him for the visit and comments Martelly made. Ingraham said McCartney needs to ensure that he is first aware of the facts before speaking out.
Mr. Brian McCartney of the unestablished party calling itself the DNA says that I invited President Martelly to the Bahamas. That is untrue. In recent times, Mr. Christie of the PLP has had occasion to remind Mr. McCartney that he ought not be telling lies. I have to do the same thing. When you tell more than one lie, you become a liar. One of the things that young politicians and old politicians ought to do for themselves is to establish themselves as being credible persons. That you take steps to verify things before you make pronouncements. You don't go and shoot your mouth off and make statements that are untrue and that could easily have been verified in advance. Carelessness is not a good thing for a young politician or indeed for an old politician. And I caution Mr. McCartney not to continue to tell lies.
Now, Ingram did take issue with one of the comments Martelli made. It's the issue relating to citizenship and who's entitled. McCartney said children born to Haitian parents in the Bahamas have automatic citizenship. But unlike the Haitian or U.S. constitutions, which has citizenship granted upon birth, our constitution says a child born in the Bahamas takes on the citizenship of his or her parents and can apply for citizenship at 18. Now, during his courtesy call with Martelli, Ingram says the president of Haiti discussed issues pertaining to immigration and repatriation, trade and agriculture, as well as making Haiti more attractive for Haitians to begin returning home to take advantage of economic opportunities. Shanique Miller, 7S News.